Hey friends, it's Sid from Sid's Tiny Kitchen, and today we are going to make a cocktail together. The sun is shining, it is coming through the window, it is bright and beautiful and warm outside. So I'm looking for something a little bit refreshing and light today, something a little bit bubbly. I have some great freshly squeezed grapefruit juice, some freshly squeezed lime juice, and we are going to make a Paloma today. So our base liquor for that is tequila, and that's what we're gonna start off with. But actually our very first step, which I've already done, is you guys are going to always chill your drinking glass before you start making your cocktail. You could simply throw it in the fridge or the freezer if that's easier to you. I just wanted to show you that you can also throw ice in there, and that's a great way to start chilling your glass as well. And then you're gonna go ahead and start mixing your ingredients into your cocktail shaker. So this is my recipe. There's definitely some different recipes out there. I love grapefruit. It's one of my favorite flavors, so I go pretty heavy on the grapefruit. So of course, as you guys are making this, you should adjust. But one thing you can't really argue about is the tequila. So tequila is our spirit here, is obviously the most important ingredient. So when you're using your tequila, use something good and make sure that you're using a tequila blanco. You don't want anything aged for this because it's gonna bring in all of its own flavors from the aging process, and we're looking for a very clean flavor here. So our second star ingredient here is the grapefruit juice. So I put 2 ounces of tequila in here. Traditionally, you would probably put 1 ounce of grapefruit, so 2 parts tequila to 1 part grapefruit. But I, as I said, love grapefruit, so I'm gonna go a little heavy. So about 1.5 ounces of grapefruit for me. And then I'll do the lime juice next. For the lime juice, you're gonna do about 3/4 of an ounce. I'm not gonna lie, in a pinch, I actually have made this with lemon juice and it is still delicious, but there is something wonderful about the combo of lime and grapefruit together. And now our very last ingredient is something I wanna talk about for a second. This is just simple syrup. So if you guys ever have a recipe that calls for simple syrup, it is so easy to make. You take equal parts sugar and water, for example, a cup and a cup, and then you just warm it until the sugar is dissolved. So you can do it in the microwave, you can do it on the stovetop. Once you make it, it will last for weeks and weeks and weeks. So make it in a big batch and you can use it for all the cocktails that you need. Or anytime that you need a little bit of a sweetener, maybe for your iced coffee. We're gonna go somewhere between 1/2 and 1/4 ounce, so not a lot. Again, it really depends on your personal preference here. So I kind of went right in the middle because sometimes I like sweetness, sometimes I don't. I kind of fall right in the middle, so that's what I did here. So I've got all my ingredients in the glass, and of course I need the ice. Remember with your ice, guys, that ice is actually part of the recipe. You do need the ice. You do need a little bit of dilution from your ice into your drink. That is part of the process here, okay? So with your ice, you don't want to fill to the very tippy top because you need some space in there so the ice can shake around. With your shaken drinks, you really want to create a lot of great air bubbles in there, okay? So that means that when you actually go to shake it, you gotta shake it, all right? So I don't want you guys to just do a little bit like this. I've seen this. This isn't gonna do anything. This will mix your ingredients, but that's not all of what we need the shaking to do. So you can either go all the way from the hip up to the shoulder, or you can kind of go up and out. It really just depends on what you like. The whole point is that you gotta do it vigorously. You gotta do it for about 20 seconds, and you gotta do it till this is very, very cold. Also, just a note, if this expands while you guys are shaking the cocktail, because remember, it does get really cold, you can always knock right where the lid meets the shaft, give it a little tap, and then the top will come off much more easily. Okay, now here's my little trick. For so many of your carbonated drinks that have just a little bit of a sparkling top, whether it is bubbling wine, whether it is seltzer or club soda, I quite often just see recipes where you stir it in at the end. That's really gonna leave the bubbles, the carbonation, sitting right on top, or at least that ingredient. So what I'm gonna do is just pour a little bit into the shaker, and then I'm gonna strain it all out together. Before we actually strain our cocktail in here, we're gonna rim the glass with this wonderful mix of salt, or you could use sugar, and I have something called tajin, which is a wonderful spice. It's chili, it's lime, and it's gonna go really, really well with this. You can also just use salt or sugar if that's what you have. Sometimes I use the citrus to rub around the rim before we put this topping on, and that's gonna help everything stick. If you don't have any citrus, or if it's not working well enough for you, you can always just very lightly dab a little bit of that simple syrup onto the rim, and that will help things stick. But this really worked for us today. I'm just gonna kind of clean it up around the bottom. and then we're gonna strain our drink right in. So I'm just gonna gently pour my drink right in here. I know most people like to put their ice in before they pour, but I actually like to put the ice in afterwards because sometimes, or at least in the past, I know that I have put in too much ice and then I don't have enough room for all my booze. And the booze are really the point here, so that's what I want to fill to the top. So cheers, everybody. This is a Paloma. I'm so excited for you guys to try this. These actually pack such a great punch. If you want, you can make it a little bit more acidic, a little bit more sweet, or you can make it more boozy, depending on your personal preference. But thank you guys so much for coming in and checking out our cocktail today. I'm so excited for you to try this. If you make it, go ahead and tag me, post it on Instagram at Sid's Tiny Kitchen. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and the recipe will be in the show more section below. Thank you guys, enjoy.